Madam Clerk, roll please.
Chairman John Eric Hoover.
Here.
Vice Chairwoman Caroline Gonzalez. Here. Member Sal Carey.
Here.
Member Adam Thompson.
Here.
Member Julie Keenan.
Here.
Member Kim LaCarey.
Here.
Member Debbie Robinson.
Here.
Member Janet Applefield.
Here.
Member Cheryl Taylor. Let the record show that Member Cheryl Taylor is absent from today's meeting.
Thank you. First up, we have no minutes approved, so moving on to comments from the general public. We have nobody in attendance and nobody online that I see. And so we'll move right along to comments from the chair and committee members. I'll start with my left, Member Keenan.
Nothing at this time.
Vice Chair Gonzalez.
I do have some comments. I don't know if I should reserve for now or later. It's about Spartan Manor and Vesh.
No, you do it now if you want.
Okay. So in Spartan Manor, they do have May 16, 2025 available. They did send an email with their menus and how much it would be per person and everything. I said around 150 people. I'm not sure though how many we can have.
Did they give you what capacity they have?
I haven't been able to meet them.
Okay.
I'm hopefully this week I'm going to go and meet with Daphne, and I can go more into that, the capacity and everything. But definitely it's going to be more than Vesh.
Yeah, let's see what their capacity is, and then we'll shoot for that.
Perfect. And then for Vesh, I did RSVP for a reserve for February 19th. 2025, the Business Expo.
Okay.
She has it available, so I reserved it. She just wants a time frame of when we are planning to do it, and I told her we were having a meeting today, so I would let her know more or less what time we would plan to do that.
Okay. Did you have met with these guys yet, other than email? Or, I don't know. Like I said, I think they sponsored Newport Richie's. I don't know if they're willing to do something.
I'm gonna speak with Daphne because I called. Was it Judith? And then I didn't get a response for a bit, and then she put me with Daphne, and Daphne called me, and then I had sent on their website information, so then we communicate through email.
Okay.
So I'm planning to meet with her sometime this week. They were closed yesterday, and then today I didn't see an email until like 2 hours ago that she said they're till 7.
And so on this price list, I was assuming they did like a per person type charge, possibly, or something.
Yeah, there is a room fee. $500
Right.
per room for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then per person. And then she said we can do a cash bar.
It was per room, because they had the big ballroom.
Mhm.
I assume that's just one room, and then they also had like these going in the ballroom is kind of like their hors d'oeuvre room where they had. Or is it another room?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to find out with
Okay.
her, because they also have all those. If we would open everything, then how many rooms
Right,
are there?
yeah.
2, 4. Well, how many is it? And they also have that outside area that I know they have for like cocktails.
Right.
So is that an additional room? Can we use that? Is that going to be something that you have?
Yeah, the only thing they did for theirs for Newport Richie's was they had the main ballroom, and of course as you walked in the hallway, you get kind of checked in there. As you went around the corner, that hallway they had had some music playing, and they had some picture opportunities. And as you went around the corner, then you were in the kind of like that hors d'oeuvre room where they had the hors d'oeuvres and whatnot, the bar, and then on into the ballroom. So, yeah, trying to see when you talk to them, I guess similar to probably the layout Newport Richie had. Just kind of get an idea what they did for their pricing.
Perfect.
And then I guess these $23.95, $24.95, is that would be per person charges for the meal? Okay.
For the meal, plus additional like if the hors d'oeuvres and things like that.
I assume that probably includes their staff. That's
Should include it. That I will ask as well.
yeah. Let's try to get as line item as you can.
They also have dessert. But I was thinking this was just a thought, and I'm going to see if I can maybe find someone that maybe wants to sponsor
Do a cake
or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. They I know they had dessert. I can't remember if it was a big cake that they cut there or if they had something in the back. I can't remember. But that's a good idea to have like a cake with a logo or something on it that they would cut for everybody. Okay. And you're meeting? What's that? You meeting with them when?
I hopefully this week.
Okay, cool.
As soon as I get information, I like I told Ashley, I'll email her, and then depending on how we would distribute it, but also for the next meeting, I'll have
Okay,
all
cool.
the information.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, just about Vesh, and that's it. But Vesh is she just wants a time frame.
Okay.
And then we can run with it.
Okay, cool. Remember Carrie?
I spoke with Langlow North. Currently, they got February 22nd open, but I have to go up there and sit with the general manager or the owner, and work out everything. One of the questions they did raise is how many lanes we're going to want to do the bowling tournament. So I was figuring at least start at a minimum of 20, and then as we move forward, I'll talk to them and see if we can adjust that as we get closer to that date, because obviously we're not going to know how many people until we get really close to that date. So unless you think we should ask for more, I was going to start at least with 20 lanes and say,
how many they got over there?
I think they're the same size as.
They're a little small, I think.
They're a little smaller.
Yeah. And of course, when they redid theirs, they took out some of those laser tag things. I don't know how many lanes they got.
But with that far out, we're still in good shape as far as availability. But I'm going to call them again. They're sporadic as far as when they're available, so I'm going to try and set a hard time with them so we can sit down and get the particulars.
The only thing is, if we don't use the entire alley, you have open bowlers coming in and out
Right.
too. So,
which does happen at other tournaments and stuff. You just work the tournament and then they have other open lanes and stuff. I didn't think we wanted to book the entire lane bowling alley either.
Depends on how many people sign up. Yeah. So.
And tonight, Ashley and I have a 6 o'clock and in Newport Richey. So we were asking if we can try and wrap up around quarter.
Yeah.
Quarter.
I'm actually going to myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So.
Yep.
All right.
What I got?
And that's all I got right now.
Member Thompson.
I'm good. Thank you.
Yep.
Good.
Alternate member LaCarrie. Not alternate, but to the other LaCarrie. Member Hatfield?
Yes, sir. Two quick things. We didn't approve the minutes.
There was no minutes.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. Is there,
I don't
okay.
think.
No, not
Oh,
us.
that's why. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it have any in there. So
Skipped it. Okay. A question for Carolyn, or what you thought on maybe limiting the menu, like have a set.
Yes.
Let people pick maybe 2 or 3 things.
Yes.
And maybe one dessert or something like that. So
That's what I was going to meet with. When I meet with them, I'm going to see what similar, like what.
I think everybody got the same thing there, unless
yeah,
they
or
was
that
like a
too.
special dietary restriction or something.
Right.
But they have
Yeah.
all served the chicken. I think is what it was.
chicken.
Yeah, this was just this is what they just give.
Right.
So when I go there, I'll just see what is like your most used dish and things like that.
Yeah, everyone just gets either fish or chicken and a salad and
Exactly.
dessert, and that's it. Okay. And then I was going to ask you, Mr. Chairman, if all of our selections cleared through the council.
Yeah, they all went through.
Okay. So we're all good to go.
All
with
good to
that.
go on those.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That's all I have.
Member Robinson.
So I went to the bowling alley and I met Wes Hodges and I met Lauren London, and they took me in the back and I talked to them. And so they have the package of family fun. So it's $62 in tax, so it's up to 6 people. So if you're going to do 10 lanes and you're going to do 60 people on, for six times 10
Was that more of
lanes.
a party setup, I guess, so? Or is
Excuse me?
tournament?
Excuse me?
Was that the price for like 6 people on a lane for a party? Because normally a tournament you'd
She
have.
said she said that's the price. She said that's the price, but she has to find out like how many people we're gonna have, and then she maybe would give like a because anybody can bowl at that time, maybe like a 10 to 20% discount. And she also said there's going to be a deposit. She did say that date was good. And then I wanted to make up like an entry form, and then we would have to like make like a flyer, like something like this, really fast to make sure that we could find, start giving everybody. But she said, so that would be like $600. So just the 10 lanes. So I was just wondering, she said, why would anybody come? Is the city going to be like helping? Is it going to be like a fun day, or is it going to be more of like a tournament, or
Yeah,
like
tournament was the idea where people would basically pay to bowl in it, and then there'd be prizes or whatever for the.
Yeah, so they're gonna pay exactly like what they can bowl, like,
No, it'd probably be whatever we set, depending on what we're going to do for prizes. I mean, all that'd be worked out, obviously, but it'd be a tournament format is the intent. I think what she probably priced was more like their party rates or whatever. Book so many lanes, you have this many people. It's
no, she said it's the same. She said she said that she would really just rather have more of a family day. If it's gonna be, you know, people that are gonna bowl, people that are gonna like you're gonna have a scratch where so that where the kids can't go and bowl for that for like a family. So that would be like a bowler like you.
right. So that was what we kind of talked about was a bowling tournament. I mean,
and that's the discussion I had with them, that we are leaning more towards a tournament and not more like a party or family type of oriented
Oh, okay.
thing.
So I wasn't quite sure. That's why I wanted to I didn't know.
Yeah,
So we
so-
are gonna have a tournament. It's gonna be like a scratch.
Yeah, either scratch or I mean I don't know what rules we want to set.
Yeah, we have to figure that out, obviously,
Figure it
but-
out as we get closer. But
most of the time you have handicaps, so you could technically have kids bowl in the tournament for certain ages. They get better, more handicapped, so they would compete with adults. I don't know how we work that out, but obviously we'd have to figure that out.
We could do a separate division
we
for
can do
kids.
You could do different divisions as well.
She said either way. She said it's 6 people on a lane.
We-
Up to 6 people on the lane. You know, so that's
We-
10 lanes. That's
Right. For a tournament format, you probably know it'd be max of 4 on each lane, and it'd be you have a pair, and they go back and forth on a tournament style. So it'd be
You wanna
8
go
per,
back and
8
talk
per
to
pair,
her?
so 4 per lane.
when we go back.
Yeah, I think Sal's
if you
on
want,
that.
So
like
I
said,
talked to it's Lorna London. Did you bowl with her?
Yeah.
She said you bowled with her.
Yeah. I used to bowl over there.
now the person I talked to, I have to talk to the owner. I have their names written down, but neither one of them was a woman, so I don't know what.
So
person
Wes
would-
Hodges, was that the manager?
Yeah, there's Wes. Yes, you spoke to Wes.
Yes. He
Okay.
was there at the meeting. I
All
made
right.
a meeting.
Okay. So
But she was more of the like take charge, like he like sat in the back, and she was doing like quick talking.
Yeah.
I think I want to explain to them more that it's going to be more of a tournament style
Yeah.
situation than more of like a family fun.
So are we
There
going to
is-
pay for some of the bowling, or they're just going to pay for their own bowling? Because she said, well,
Well, there'd be entry fee for each person on the team or the team of 4. You'd have, and a lot of times you can sell sponsorships to it, and that sponsorship comes with a team. Or, there's different ways you can structure that stuff.
Or the team can get their own sponsor.
I think what we got to do is that when whoever we assign or however it gets assigned as a subcommittee for that particular event, those are all the things that we're going to have to figure out for that particular event. Everything from, who's going to be paying, how much are they going to pay, what prizes are we going to have, the action.
yeah. So it's not going to be just an
times.
easy thing. This one's not.
No,
gonna
no,
be
well,
easy.
none of them are. I mean, everything is going to require planning for every
Yeah.
event, and there's going to be particulars for
Mhm.
every single one of them. So, I think what I can do is that before we leave here today, I'll get your number so you and I can coordinate after I meet with them,
Yeah.
and then that way I can let you know what I find out, and we can go from there. So that way you and I are on the same page.
And then did we get the numbers for all the businesses in Port Richey?
I have all the emails. I don't have all the phone numbers. I can still get the phone numbers through the building department, but I do have all the email addresses.
So do we have to get like, because I felt like kind of like a little bit stupid because I was only like showing her like this stuff and it was like I didn't have like an official something to show that.
Right. So the sponsorship, that's what we're discussing tonight.
That's what we're doing today.
Yeah, we're going to go with
Doing
sponsorship
that
package.
today? Okay, thank you.
So I talked to Ryan. He reached out to Innisbrook where there's a member for the golf scramble, and I can't remember. I think I told you last meeting that week was spring break. We had originally set that date for, and they normally do the golf scrambles on like a Monday. Works out best for them. So the only date they had available was Monday, the 28th of April, and so that would be the date. And he said that obviously depending on how you structure that. If you're just doing it to break even, you do like $500 a team. I think it works out a little bit over $100 per person when you book the venue, and then a lot of times $1,000 a team. There's money in there for prizes and obviously to make money as well. So it depends on how if we want to break even or if we want to actually try to make some money on that event to put towards other things. Let's set that pricing. But anyway, Monday the 28th I say April.
April.
Yeah, is the date for the scramble at Innisbrook.
What was the date on Monday, the what?
20th.
And that's at Innisbrook?
Mm-hmm.
So that's for the golf scramble, and then the Taste of Port Richie, are we gonna move it to Monday?
No, you can probably keep
We'll
those the
just leave it
same.
till
Just,
March
just
22nd, okay.
just leave everything the same there and just move the scramble to the 20th of April.
Okay,
If we had it originally on the 22nd, so how can Monday be the 20th? 28th.
28th.
28th
I'm sorry.
of April,
Yeah, it's a different month.
because
Too.
the 22nd was March.
Oh,
Yeah,
April.
so April.
Yeah, that week of spring break.
April. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right. So
So-
Monday, April 28th.
Yeah, so just take the golf scramble and move it to 20th April.
We'll do an updated
Yeah.
event list.
Calendar.
Yeah, because the 26th is Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Moving on to our first agenda item, and only agenda item, Centennial sponsorship packet. So the committee discussed developing a sponsorship packet similar to the one used for the City's Boom on Bayou event. City staff has created a draft of the packet. Centennial Committee also developed an event list to coincide with the sponsorship packet. City Council approved the event list at the November 12th meeting. The packet will be posted on the city website and Facebook and emailed to local businesses to draw in potential sponsors for the 100-day event. Sponsors will be added to all promotional materials during the celebration. So in your package, you'll see that the sponsorship packet is there. Did anybody have any comments on that? Or I'll start. I know we talked about the sponsorship levels, and I can't remember what it was before. What the bottom one was 1,000.
Well, the thing is, I know you mentioned doing a small one for just anyone who wanted to be like just a supporter or
Mhm.
something like that. So we added the $250 Centennial supporter to the bottom. The in the last draft, the $1,000 was the limit, but then I remember you mentioned
Mhm.
before to add a smaller one for if an individual or someone else wanted to contribute. So we made it 250 and 250 and up.
So do we want to limit it to 250 is the smallest we'll take? Is there?
Well, I mean, how far low do we want to go? I mean, we want to do 5. I mean,
Well, you're going. Yeah, I'd say maybe $100.
Right, that's what I thought for an individual, $100. My question was gonna be, because I see 250 plus, but then it says fill in donation amount, so I didn't know if they could put like 100 here.
well, that's what I said. I thought that the minimum would be 250, but if we want to change the minimum, I'm fine with that. We just didn't want to. I didn't want to have
5 here, 10 here. 20 here.
5 here, 10 here, and
Yeah.
endless lists of people.
No, I think $100 would be.
add to everything. So
I think $100 would be enough that people that want to give wouldn't mind doing $100.
okay.
Right.
And then obviously anywhere between that and 1,000.
So $100 up.
100 plus.
100 plus, 100 plus.
And I just put there 100 minimum or your
Yeah.
custom donation amount.
Okay.
Above.
We can change that. Now, the question I did have that I wanted to bring up is these sponsorships. So for the Centennial sponsor, the 20,000, or pretty much most of the big sponsors, the Turn of the Century, the Roaring, and so on. Are they blanket? They're going to be blanket sponsors for the 100-day event, correct?
Yes, that's kind of the way I would think it would be.
Because I don't think we're gonna. Well, my thought was we're not gonna get a Centennial sponsor for 14 events.
Right.
It's not.
No.
Gonna be, we're not gonna get 20,000 for each one.
Matter of fact, I would say that, for instance, on the Centennial presenting sponsor 20,000, maybe that includes a bowling team. It includes a golf team.
We can do that. We can
So-
add that if you want.
So they can actually get in,
Like an
participating in those events.
Okay.
Do we want to add that on there? It includes teams for 3 events or something like that. Do we want to put that on the
And maybe
sponsorship?
take it to the bowl.
Well, obviously, we get a booth at every.
Right.
Yeah, they'll get a booth.
Right,
That's
they'll get
automatic.
their booth, but do we want to this also includes, teams for
Um,
3 events or whatever?
Well, you got the golf scramble, the bowling tournament, and the ticket to the banquet.
Oh yeah,
Or a
we got the
ticket
ball.
for a couple to the
Ticket to
banquet.
a couple,
Two
a
or
couple
4
to
tickets or
the-
something. Yeah.
for the ball.
Is there anything else that's
Bad
like
balls.
in our events that we would want to?
And given that, like I said, I don't know the structure of these amounts, but obviously, like the golf team could be up to $1,000, so that you basically only be getting 19 for that because you're going to an event. The bowling would be less than that, and then of course the ball tickets if they get a table or whatever, you have to kind of figure the cost. Maybe it should be bumped up to 25,000. Again,
We could, but I would be very happy if we got the 20.
well, yeah, no, I agree. Again,
I'd be
and
ecstatic.
maybe that's okay. I just realize that whatever you throw in there is taken off of the donation.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. Maybe we want to limit to, as Miss LaCarrie said, 3.
You do a choice maybe of team for one of the events.
So they could do pick 3s. Pick 3 because you may have someone who wants to do a fishing tournament or someone who wants to because we're gonna have people pay for the car show as well. So most of our events are going to be where they're going to be paying some sort of entry fee or something like that. So I think limiting it to 3. So
Well, I think on the as far as the going to the ticketed events like the car show and all that, that's no big deal. Include those in for the sponsors. They're going to have a booth there anyway. They just and get so many tickets for their sponsorship. It's kind of hard to figure out what you're giving away before you actually set the pricing and all the things. So,
well, I was thinking the only pair of people that would get this team thing would be the Centennial. All the other sponsors would basically just get what's listed there.
Mhm.
Booth and table and promotions. But I think the Centennial should get. I agree, like tickets to the mayor's ball.
yeah, no,
For a whole
Yeah,
table, I
yeah,
would think
yeah.
they should have their own
Mhm.
table there as well.
Probably because they're going to probably let's say if it's a large company or a dealership or something of that magnitude, I'm
Mhm.
sure they're going to have 8 to 10 people if they're bringing themselves and a spouse or something else to that. So
What's the largest amount you got for Boom on the Bayou here?
that was 10,000.
You got 10,000?
that was the top one for that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the top at the time. So
Who was that?
Ocean Honda.
Really?
yes,
And then McDonald's did 500.
So you're specifying it, and then entry into two other events, or just broadly that.
Chief. The events.
well, yeah, because you may have they may want to do the fishing tournament as opposed to the golf
Right.
scramble.
So just
So I mean,
I'd say entry to 2 events and 8 tickets to the mayor's ball.
Is
Is
How many-
it 8 or 10 at a table?
how many at a table there?
I don't know.
I can't
I
remember.
think you
I
could do
don't-
either or. It's probably 8 or 10.
I think it's 8 to from past experience for other things. 8 is to fit comfortably.
Right.
10
And
is
if they're
more.
squishing
Yeah.
everybody in, yeah.
You could just say table to mayor ball.
Okay, right.
It turns out to be 4, 6, 8, whatever it is.
Right.
It's a table.
I had a general question, which I didn't see on here. What happens if someone just wants to sponsor one event?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
so that was my next question. Thank you. So we have the blanket sponsors, which this is what will be the blankets, but I'm sure maybe someone will want to sponsor a particular event. And that's where it's going to be, which I won't have an issue doing, but if someone only wants to do $2,500 for one event, they're still going to fall within that $2,500 level as opposed to the other higher sponsors.
Mhm.
So, I mean, they could have that option, but it all depends on, how much they're going to donate for that event, where they.
They just want to pay for the whole thing. They want to pay for the whole bowling tournament. I don't know how much it's going to be. So, but I just want my name everywhere, and and I just want to pay.
Turn your mic on, by the way. Your mic.
Your mic.
I just want to pay for all of the bowling. I just, when if it's 3,000 or 5,000, I mean, we might not know. Or I want to donate all the fishing rods and all the bait for the fishing
Well,
tournament.
that's getting particular between each event.
I know.
So that's what I'm saying is that if you want to have someone sponsor that, that's fine. But this is where it's going to get very
That's
confusing.
separate though. The
So
sponsorship
you either say
events are
yes, you
separate.
can sponsor one tournament, or you can say no, we're not offering that, but you can you can donate, let's say,
Down at the bottom.
5,000.
Yeah,
No,
I
you
mean,
can
if they
donate
wanted to donate
5,000
and
and
we
you'll
can
be
add
seen
them-
everywhere.
Yeah, and we can add them, to that event and say that so and so donated all the fishing rods, or so and so donated the entry fees for the bowling, or we can do that as
Right.
well. But I just don't want to stray from everyone thinking that they're only going to be allowed to do one of each event.
Right.
And
you're going to have multiple sponsors for different events. Like, for example, the Business Expo, Vesh is sponsoring it. If you think about it, because they're giving their place. So they're going to get fun, or how do you say that? Like they're
In-kind.
showing themselves recognition by us going there and them holding their expo, and then they'll be giving hors d'oeuvres or whatever it is, that it's in Vesh. So that's
I'm just
technically
devil's
sponsor-
advocate because I think it's better for someone to just give $5,000 and be seen everywhere rather than just saying, I just want to sponsor the bowling tournament. And I think if someone says that, okay, fine, but your money's better served just giving us a blanket amount, because then you can get all the other benefits.
I think it depends on the business and what is it that they want.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if they say, I just want to do the fishing tournament, or I just want to give my money for let's say Ocean Honda or something
Yeah.
gives for the Centennial,
Well, they
we're not
can
going to say,
always-
well, the 20,000 is just for this. We're
Yeah,
gonna say,
absolutely.
They
I'm
can always write that in.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
I mean, that's something. If they specifically want to do one thing, they can always write that in the bottom.
and we'll work with
like you
everyone
were
in
saying,
that sense.
yeah.
So
Or we could add one blank that would say a sponsorship in kind. Like if they wanted to donate all the bait, which is a couple $1,000s or something. If they wanted to donate all the, they could just put an in kind sponsorship blank.
And it
somewhere.
just speak in the packet about it in kind, right? Yeah.
Because like you got businesses that are specifically toward fishing or
Correct.
golfing, or that they might want to just give specifically to that.
So on these levels, it mentions in here, at the event, like the turn of century shows, dedicated single signs and or banner at the event. I'm assuming that's talking about
Yes.
the final event, or is the intent that we're going to have these logos and stuff on all the events?
whoever's our Centennial sponsor is going to be at every event that we have. If we get someone who's going to, we get a sponsor that donates $20,000 to the city to do this, they're going to be at for all 14 with a banner, with a table, with whatever they want.
So you might want to tweak that so it says prominently featured dedicated signs throughout all Centennial events.
Yeah, I could change it to events or Centennial. Yes.
And then
And that's why I wanted to discuss this, because this, I've had this conversation with staff. Is this going to be singular or is this going to be blanket? I'm in favor of blanket because, like I said, if we
you make the signs up once, you take them around with you.
yeah. So I feel that whoever and if we end up getting 2 or 3 Centennial sponsors,
that'd be great.
I mean, that would be amazing. But or 1 Centennial and 3 turn of the century. I mean, they will still be blanketed through all 14. So
Right.
you'll see their name at the bowling tournament, then you'll see their name at the field day, and then you'll see their name, from jump. The whole idea is to make sure that we get their name and business out at every single event. I don't want it to limit it to just one. And then, of course, at our final day, the firework celebration, the same thing. They'll be there with booths and set up and everything like that. But put their names in the drum and everything.
Firework.
Yes, I agree. Word that just
Yeah.
let know that it's going to be throughout all the events.
So with that, if you look at the 10,000 and the 5,000, would you be setting up a booth at every event? Would that include a booth at every event?
Yes.
Because I mean, the way it reads right now, it seems like it's just one of the events.
Which I assumed was the last one.
Right.
Yeah.
Last one.
Just carry that same theme through all the.
Right. So we need to just change that so
Yes.
that it recognizes that they will be seen at all of the events, and
I
not
just
just
wanted
one
to make
that
sure
they
we're on
choose.
that page before I made that change.
So
And with that, is that too little of a price? I mean, at 5,000, and you get a booth at every single of 14 events. Maybe then they could just pick like 2 or 3 events. That
Like
seems like
limited, what
yeah.
they're doing, like the
I mean,
Centennial.
10,000 and the
events.
20,000, obviously, you can
Yeah.
cover them all, but the 5,000, 14 events that's a lot.
You cut it in half or
You
something.
could just give them like 5 events or something like that for booths.
The first one, all, I get one
I mean, they get the
Two.
signage at all of them,
for
but
3, and then the third one, 2.
Unless you do,
Or you could do half price
7,
booths.
and then 2.
So we're saying for the 5,000, only so many events, like at 7 events.
only so many booth events. Like they could, whatever signage we make for each of those, the signs are already made, so we could put the signs up for all the vendors at all the events, but actual booth where they would be.
Well, you know, there's probably not an issue with letting them have a booth at every event.
Okay.
I
Y'all know
mean-
the past, I don't.
If somebody's given any amount of money, they don't boost. They start to what, 2,500? Yeah, right, dedicated vendor booth set up, showcase business. Yeah, so I mean, any of those 4 tiers.
Okay.
I mean,
Cool.
you want to give them something for that money for sure.
Well, Centennial, we can say all. Turn of the Century, we can say 10.
Oh, I'd say all on that one too.
On Turn of the Century, say all. Okay,
Yeah.
so Centennial, Turn of the Century would be all. Roaring could be, what do you want to say,
8 or 10.
8 to 10 out of 14, and then the Aaron Ritchie be 5.
I agree with that.
Okay,
Just it gives them more reason to give more.
More,
To get
yeah. If
more
they really want to be
exposure.
exposed
Is
like
that
that.
we have 14 events? Is that are they all
unless it's
boothable
changed.
events? I guess.
in one form or another.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just do just take it down 5. So Centennial, you get the full 14, right? Turn of Century, you get 10. Or do you say all? Okay,
All,
so
yeah.
all those 14,
All for
14,
both.
and then Roaring, you get 10, and
And then
Ten.
Business Booster 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
What does table advertisement only mean?
So instead of like, an entire booth setup where it would be most of the time you have 3 tables and a covered booth, like they would pitch a tent. A table is just one for like a 6-foot table with, if you have flyers on them or, something like that, just a small table.
Well, because they're not going to have vendor booths on our inside events, obviously.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
just, it's,
Okay.
And so back to the event sponsorships. So we have these overall. Do we want to create a separate category for event sponsor and then have them write in the event if they want to sponsor? And not necessarily tag a dollar amount to it?
But it would be monetary and or something that they want to donate also.
Right. So for example, the mayor's ball, if let's say that they decide to sponsor it in some way, shape, maybe
Right.
they don't charge us for the venue, right?
Okay.
So they're sponsoring it, or maybe they're doing half price on the per person charge, whatever they decide to do. They would be a
the room or something.
yeah.
Okay.
At minimum, comp the facility probably would be something. But anyway, you figure all that out based on the event. Once you get more details on the event and the cost, then they would, they can sponsor it all, part of it, or whatever.
That,
Now, see,
kind of,
if
that
there's
falls under
multiple-
the in-kind sponsorship. I think
Right.
it just needs a space to
Some
write
space.
in,
What
a
they're-
write-in space underneath the Centennial supporter, just a in-kind sponsorship.
Well, I guess my thought is whether it's in kind or
Or they can just write it at the
monetary or
bottom.
whatever. Hey, I want to sponsor this. They may be thinking, hey, I'm going to donate bait instead of a fishing tournament, or whatever.
Right, and it does state on the third page down there the in-kind sponsorship, so they can.
Right.
It's
That's why
just
I
not a space for it specifically.
That's why I say instead of actually putting a dollar figure to it, just say an event sponsor. You pick one or multiple events that you want to sponsor, and then we work out as we start to plan those what we need from those individuals. I mean, if you
And
say,
then
"Hey, I want to
other
sponsor this
details to
event,"
follow?
they could assume that is this sponsoring the entire event? What's this going to cost, or am I sharing in it? It's
So we can create an in-kind form that'll go after this. So that basically will just leave a couple of spaces and then room for them to specify which event
What they wanna
and
do.
what items they want to donate. So, because it may not even be monetary, it may be the physical items. Someone will say, well, we're going to have a field day with picnics, so I'm going to bring, I'm going to donate
Bounce houses.
paper towels, plates, everything. I'm going to bring that. So then that would be that in-kind sponsorship, and they can fill out for what event they want to bring that for. So then that even gives individuals, if they don't want to pay money, if they have access to bring items and specify what event, then they can do that. And we can do another form after the sponsorship levels in between there and add that.
And that just gives them a tax write-off.
Right, something like that.
And when we asking for the sponsorship, should we also ask them if they're interested in volunteering? Because we still have to get a lot of volunteers. Okay, right.
We can leave information saving, and once we start promoting this, we're going to promote. If anyone wants to volunteer, please contact certain people, but then once again, that's getting to you're going to want the volunteers when we start doing the subcommittees and for those particular events. So, but once we start promoting this, then we can start, including that we're going to want volunteers.
Do you want to put it, I know you said you were going to do a separate page for the in-kind, but do you want to put on this sheet at the bottom a box that just says in-kind?
If I can fit it, but I want to make sure that there's enough room for them to understand that
That's different than.
like what event, what they're actually doing. If I have enough, we have enough room to fit it in there. Sure, I'll do it on the same page, but
Probably be on a separate form.
but
Yeah.
I think in a separate form, because what if a person has a laundry list or like a little item list of
Yeah,
what they want to bring?
absolutely.
I'm bringing napkins, paper towels, for forks, spoons. I'm going to donate some pastries, and they list all those things. So then we receive that, and we're like, okay, this person covers that, so we don't have to get any of those items. Some people may just put one item, say, I'm just gonna donate the tables. I'm gonna bring extra tables, and then that's fine. But some people may have several things that they may want to list in kind because, let's say a business owner has 15 tables sitting in his business that he only uses for events at some time. They may not want to donate money, but he'll donate his tables that he's got. So.
I also had a question too. It says on the Centennial that the business name is going to be incorporated into the logo. How are we going to do that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You have under the Centennial, one of the benefits is it says business name incorporated into the event logo. I mean, the logo should just stand by itself. We shouldn't have names.
Side by side, just like for Boom on the Bayou. Like
Yeah.
the city was here and then Ocean Honda was here.
It's just meaning that their business will be included in, no matter what, it'll be there along with our logo.
Okay. It's kind of unclear the way it's written. Maybe incorporated with the event logo.
Yeah.
What section was that?
That's the
Under Centennial.
sixth
Sixth thing.
bullet down. Up top. All the way up top.
Oh,
Right there. Sixth down.
okay, got it.
Business name incorporated.
Change into with.
And then just obviously the pagination wasn't right on here. I don't know if it just was our packet or whatever, but like see how that
Yeah, that's just the draft.
spacing or whatever. So So on the event sponsorship, did we decide how we're gonna put a box on there, event sponsorship, and select the event you want to sponsor in part or in whole, or what do we decide?
That would be part of the in-kind
Yeah,
sponsorship, right?
I thought that was going to be
That
part of
was
the
a
in-kind,
separate
no?
form.
Or we're going to do this separate?
Well, I don't know that I mean, so the event sponsorship is an in-kind sponsorship.
That's what I would think. Like, for example, I'm just going to use Vesh, that they're in kind giving us their venue. And then let's say they want to do $5,000 to the event, like all the events, then they give their 5,000 and then they give their in kind.
Right, with that. But I'm thinking to say, I'm not looking to do any of these levels here. I just want to sponsor the bowling tournament, and it's
Then that's-
$2,000, and there's $2,000. I'm the bowling tournament sponsor.
So that, yeah, I think that falls under the in-kind. And if they're not doing one of those, then they're going to just do particular.
Well, in-kind is not a cash donation to support it. It's, or say, so in-kind would be they take it, run with it, and they put it on, and we just show up and
You
do
can change the
whatever.
wording.
Or they supply things
You can change the
non-monetary.
wording on that page where they have ability to write to in kind or specific event sponsorship. And then have the room to write down what they want. Because that's a section they can say, I have this, can you
Yeah,
use
see,
it?
I wouldn't muddy. I mean, there's direct financial sponsor or donations, right? And then there's in-kind donations, which is materials and stuff like that that have already been purchased. So right, so that's my thinking is that I'm going to sponsor an event. There'll be some cash outflow for that. There'll be some material that I might do. I might provide the labor for it. There's a lot of things in kind I provide it as being an event sponsor.
So should we just do another checkbox for specific event supporter?
Yeah, I just an event sponsor would be a category.
Event sponsor or specific event sponsor, because I wanted to make sure they understand that it's for a specific event.
But maybe put it on the same page as the in kind spot, just so that you have that room to write, so they can tell you what they want to do.
Put it on this page at the bottom and put it on the bottom.
Yeah, just so they have room to write.
No, if you were gonna, I would put it on here as if you were gonna do a specific event, sponsorship, and then you don't have to put anything else other than another checkbox.
Yeah, I think this is. I mean,
Right.
event sponsor, and you would event you want to sponsor, and they could be multiple. Like, I want to do the bowling tournament and the golf tournament,
Right.
and then my thought is once we have those committees in place or whatever, we would then reach out to the sponsors
Exactly.
to get involved in
Exactly.
pricing and all that. They would
Right.
be part of that planning.
What did you say, Carolyn?
No, that I was saying the same thing. Yeah, specific event sponsor, and then they write what they're doing or whatever it is.
You confused them?
No, I'm just worried about the confusion. We're going to have to reword some of this because we really want. I don't want anyone thinking like at the Centennial or Turn of the Century. I don't want them thinking at all that it's only going to be for one event. So I'm really we'll have to reword this a little bit to make sure that anyone who puts in for the Centennial, Turn of the Century, the Roaring, that they're the blanket sponsors.
All
And
the
then we want to make sure that we separate specific event sponsors, because the last thing I want is someone to think like, wait a minute, I'm not going to put up this money and I'm only getting 1 out of 14.
Well, so
It's gonna turn away a lot of people.
right. So you have your Centennial sponsor. So let's say we got somebody puts in 20. This is use Ocean Honda for example, since they did the Boo One Buy. So they give us a Centennial presenting sponsor $20,000 at every event, and let's say somebody sponsors the golf
Right.
scramble. Okay, their information is there as a Centennial sponsor, right? But the event sponsor for that event, that's the main event sponsored by X company, right? And then underneath that, you would have Centennial sponsors, bigger real estate or whatever, and
Okay.
they're all sponsored. So these are sponsored for all the events, right? They're going to have their stuff on all the events. But an event sponsor, that's for that specific event, they're the highlight.
Well, all you have to do is the things where it says, like on the first one, prominent feature, throughout all events.
Yeah,
And,
we're gonna
opportunity
do
to
that.
welcome
We're
attendees
going to
to
do
all
that.
events.
Yeah, that's how it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm saying, but Sal, it's an easy fix.
But the event sponsor, that's like
Why don't we just do a separate form?
we'll have the in-kind sponsor and then an event sponsor, and it specifically says, I want to only sponsor this event, and this is what I'm sponsoring, this is my financial donation,
Right.
this is my whatever else, tables or whatever else that I'm gonna be doing.
And if they want to sponsor 2 events, they just copy
Right,
that page
right.
and make it double.
And we'll just put 2 forms, one for in-kind and one for specific events.
I mean, I would think if somebody says, "Hey, I want to sponsor a golf tournament," they probably got an idea of
Yes.
how much that is.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean,
Or like I'll use the bait depot just for instance for fishing.
Right.
Say, I want to donate all the bait and I'm going to let everybody use my rental rods.
yeah, obviously they know
They
that
know
there's
that that's
fees
right.
coming in and all that, and so but there's ancillary costs that they're going to pick up as a sponsor of that event.
But they might not know what the charge would.
What?
They might not know how much it's going to be. They're just going to say, "I'm going to give you all the bait," and that'll be on them, however much it's going to be.
Right, which is what I'm saying. If
Right.
I'm sponsoring a fishing tournament, I have an idea of what that means to me,
Yeah.
right? And as we get closer to planning that committee will reach out to that event sponsor and, okay, you're the event sponsor.
Exactly.
Here's what, and they would be part of that planning thing. And maybe they just want to be hands off. No, I'm just going to give you $10,000 and you just put it on or whatever. But I mean, I would think the sponsor would be part of that planning process, and they would
Absolutely.
say, "Hey, we can supply the bait. We can supply some of this." And then we talk about entry fees for everything and what comes back to the city, what goes to prizes. I mean, all that can be worked out in the end. We just need somebody to own the event. And I'm putting the event on. And maybe nobody does that. Maybe they say, "Hey, I'll be a turn of the century 10,000."
Langlois might be
Which
willing
one?
to give us some money towards the bowling tournament. They might.
Well, they might sponsor and say, "Hey, you can have the bowling tournament here. We'll take 25% of the ticket sales.
Yeah,
We'll take
exactly.
or 50-50." Or I mean, that's kind of the idea. But until you set the event and you kind of talk to, and I would strongly recommend when we book Langlow that we talk about a sponsorship and say, "Hey, where's that?" Them just sitting back there and saying, "Hey, we're going to have an event here, and we're just making money on the event." It's not really the way you should do things. I mean, they should be donating something,
Right.
whether it's a use facility, and we just do a cost sharing with them, and they take on the risk, and we put on an event. They get paid, we get paid.
I think we also have to include what their benefit is for that, and it probably is just being listed on what you have here or on the website or the social media, and then a little on signage at the specific event for the specific event sponsors.
Mhm.
All right, so we'll go ahead and create that, and we'll have that prepared. I definitely want to urge you to get this as a final draft no later than our first December meeting, so
Yeah.
we can get this out.
Agreed.
And honestly, as you go back and kind of put that together, I think just in general, we've got these levels. We need some way to portray to get event sponsors. You mentioned if somebody paid, let's say that they had $10,000 to sponsor the golf tournament or whatever, that they would automatically get to turn the century level as well. The only thing with that, obviously, is by doing that, if somebody comes and does 10,000, they would say, "Well, I want to in turn have an event sponsor because if the event sponsor automatically gets this level." So I think they really need to be separate. But depending on the level of sponsorship, we can provide some additional benefits that doesn't put them in this category. Does that make sense? I don't know. Because these people are really sponsoring all the events. These top two. I mean, they're going to be on. They're going to have a booth there. If it's a boothable event, they're going to have, obviously the marketing material and stuff there. They're just in general, right? So they're going across the events 10 and 5 on the other ones, right? An event sponsor, they're doing that. But do we want to, depending on the level of sponsorship, maybe we give them tickets to another event or something? Again, I don't.
But do we want to do a limit for an event sponsor so at least I have an idea where they're going to fall between these categories?
I don't know if I do that. I mean, if you could create the event sponsor category, and it could have some benefits underneath it. Obviously, at the event you sponsor, you get to be the top listed sponsor for that event, obviously. And if you wanted to possibly look at some of these a free booth at one of the other events or something like that. You could kind of put some benefits there to be an event sponsor, but there's no specific amount. So that event sponsor, depending on the event, could outlay a lot more capital than some of these others. And so
I think what I can do is like I'll take some from each of these, make a hybrid event sponsor page for a single event sponsor page. It'll be a hybrid of what we're offering for the Centennial, Turn of the Century, and the other ones, and then we'll also throw in like free tickets to this or free something to that. I'll get a draft ready send it to the clerk, and she can email to everyone.
Okay.
So I just don't want to wait another 2 weeks.
No, we need to get this out.
This needs to get out, and I was hoping to get this blessed like today, but now with all these changes, we're gonna have to go back to retake a couple things and then bring it back again.
Well, and like I said, do we need to get to that level of detail? If we just kind of leave what you have here, obviously change that to 100, and then just create another thing that says event sponsor, select your event, and leave it at that, and we can work out the details of that later. I don't know if that's a bad approach. Because again, you really don't know what's needed for an event until you kind of get in the planning phase of it anyway. So,
And some events are going to be more expensive than others
Right.
if they want to be a sponsor. So I'm not sure how much we have to give them other than maybe signage and recognition.
yeah, obviously, event sponsor is going to be
They're going to be
there
there
at
at
that
their
event.
own
They are the
Right.
top listed.
But you
they're
may
the
have
event sponsor.
multiple people sponsoring one event.
Yeah, the Mayor's Ball, sponsored by Spartan Manor, right? And then that's the big headline, and underneath that you got the Turn of Centuries, you got your Roarings, you got anybody else that's in there, but they are the main sponsor. So that's the benefit of being an event sponsor, and then obviously their donations, financial obligations are all funneled towards that one event.
Well, that's going to happen anyway.
For an event, you're going to have their special banner.
Each event's going to have its own banner and signs and everything. It's all going to be different,
Right.
all depending on what event
As
we're doing.
opposed to just the ones that were on there. So now you're including all these other logos and then managing all these other logos.
Well, I think for your main banner that you're going to carry to all the events, right? That has all your Centennial. You're going to have a banner that says the Centennial Festival, Centennial sponsors. So that's one banner with all these different things, however you lay it out or whatever. And event sponsor is just its own banner. But this other one is you move it around. It's that you'll have a lot of those printed because those are going to be throughout all the different events, and then each event would have a special banner for that event.
Let me do some detailing here. I don't want to keep it vague, especially as long as we've discussed this. It needs to be specific.
Okay.
So we'll have something together by end of week for the committee to look over. I'll give it to the clerk and
When's our next meeting?
out that. Not till beginning of
December.
And our first set of events is the Meet Your Government and all that, second week of February, right?
opening day, local government museum day is the 8th.
And so
We're really, when we're starting to talk about banners and things like that, well, Business Expo is going to need it too.
yeah, so that's really the first event that's going to be sponsored.
The museum day is all going to be here at City Hall.
And the city putting that stuff on.
But the thing is that once we start advertising these things, and I get a Centennial sponsor, I mean, they're going to be on every single one of these events. So,
Right.
you know, even opening day, February 7th, we're going to need banners and signs created, and advertise that. So, that's why I'm saying we need to get this out.
Would it be if this initial pass, just put event sponsor on there vague, right? Select your event or whatever.
Right.
And that would follow up with more detailed event sponsor stuff. That way you wouldn't hold up these other sponsors. We have to push that out. And as they come back in, hey, I'm sponsoring a golf tournament. Well, then we'd follow up with, okay, here's what we need for that.
So basically, just put another checkbox with event sponsor, a line for what event and what amount. and just leave that.
I just,
Why don't we just put specific event sponsorship opportunities available or something like that? Please reach out to.
Yeah.
you can do that.
Yeah, that's,
I agree with that, because then when we start doing the events, the subcommittees and everything, that's when we're gonna reach out to them and say, Bait Depot, what are you gonna bring? And Spartan Manor,
And
what
my,
are you
and my
bringing?
thought is that they would have representation on the planning committee for that because they're sponsoring it, right? So and they may be more hands-on in running that.
They may want it, they may not, yeah.
So that sounds fine to me. That way we don't hold this up.
But also I just want to make sure there's going to be a way to track this too, because when we say let's say Spartan Manor is the event sponsor. What qualifies them as the event sponsor? Are they giving us the room for free? Or are they giving us chair covers, and that entitles them as being the event sponsor and being on top of the Centennial? So what are we stating that makes them the event sponsor? They gave you a 5% discount. Okay, so now they're the event sponsor. So these are the things that would trump someone for wanting to donate and a blanket cost if we're going to put them under someone else and they lose that opportunity of being that primary. Because these businesses are looking for an opportunity to get their name out there and saying, look, yeah, I did this, we did this, and we're the ones doing it. And like I said, I just don't want a specific person, like for the bowling tournament. Okay, I donated some pizzas, and now they're the primary of that event. So where do we set the bar?
So
You can have two columns. The event. Langlo is the event sponsor for this event. These are the Centennial or whoever sponsors for the whole
I see what
what
Sal
he's
is
talking
saying,
about
yeah.
is if they just give us like $20 worth
The
of
minimum,
stuff,
yeah.
and then we're making a banner for them and all, and say they're event sponsor. I think it needs to be more like they're at the Rotary. I think
Well,
the $2,500 level,
Yes.
So
either
Yeah.
in kind or in
If-
monetary.
my thinking, if you are an event sponsor, you are at risk for the entire event. Now, let's use bowling tournament for an example, right? Let's say Langlo says, okay, we're going to sponsor the bowling tournament. They put it on, we provide, but they're putting it on, right? And then they're part of the playing process, and we figure out what the charge is or whatever. And let's say nobody buys a ticket. Well, then there's, they don't make anything, right? They're on the hook. The city doesn't lose anything, but they're going to be, there's a cost for, what their cost is per bowler for so many. Let's say that it costs them $100 per lane, right? And so the ticket sales go back to them to cover their costs. Anything above and beyond their cost goes to city. So they're the event sponsor. They're putting on the event. They're full financial risk. It's kind of a public-private partnership where we're holding an event there. You're getting repaid, and then we get a residual of it it's our event, right? But you're sponsoring it, so you're at risk on providing the facilities, providing all that stuff, but you're getting your costs are covered. So it's a business venture for them.
Here's a way to
So you're
cover
saying
the
Innisbrook,
banner
for
issue.
instance, can also be a potential event sponsor. So let's say Innisbrook wants to do it as well for the golf schedule, right? You're basically saying Innisbrook
Or Orion.
will put on the whole thing. Here's the amount that all we have to worry about is just telling people how much it costs to golf that. Basically sign up to golf.
I mean, the fees are going to cover
Right.
the cost plus.
That's
how you
an event sponsor. That's not, and that's the only thing I wanted to make sure that we understood the difference on, is that I just don't want one to trump the other. But if someone, is going to do exactly what you're saying, then of course they would be the primary.
Right. That's when I think
if we
of it,
get that, then that's great. And
Yeah.
that would be excellent. But I just wanted to make sure we're all in agreement on what that means.
right. Now let's say that, and we're talking about the bowling, Langlo. Let's say Langlo, they'll let us use the facility, but there's the cost or whatever.
Right.
And LeCarry Enterprises says, okay, I'll sponsor the bowling tournament. Then you are basically paying Langlo for whatever it costs to rent that facility or whatever. You set out the outlay for what the teams are going to cost or whatever, and so you're financially at risk for that event. But you recoup that through the ticket sales for that event. So
I have a suggestion for the banner issue, so we don't have to cost money. We make one banner that's the Centennial, for the Centennial events. whoever is supposed to be on the banner. And then the single event person puts up their own banner. All of these companies have their own banner and their own signage. And so we can have something that says, you know, this event is sponsored by, and they have their own banner, and we use their banner. And then we just carry along our own banner that
Right.
has all of our sponsors. Then you don't have to worry, Sal, about somebody is putting up more or less, because to us it doesn't matter so much how much they're going to donate if they're going to be the event sponsor, and worry about if they're trumping somebody else.
Well, it does to those businesses, though.
Well, no, so they put up their own banner next to ours.
Assuming
and
that
then-
they're the sole event sponsor. So you could have an event where
Right.
you're sponsoring, you're sponsoring, you're sponsoring, and you just divide it 3 ways, and you
Yeah.
have 3 people
Or
sponsored
we
by these
all
3.
put our own banner up on the wall, and then, but the Centennial banner is there that
Yeah.
travels everywhere. And
Yeah.
then you don't have to worry about, how much did you give? How much are you above this person or not? We have our banner that travels to all the events. And then at the single events, whoever's sponsoring that event puts up their own banner. I would suggest that as a compromise.
And plus, they're on the social media also as
Right.
sponsors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one thing is the difference, and I think that's where Sal's going, that it's sponsorship and then in-kind sponsorship, because those are 2 different things. In-kind would be paper plates and tables and things. The other one is like maybe like that, like 2,500 and up. Like, what are you going to give us in that sense? So I think that's my understanding now with the
Or like
discussion.
if Spartan Manor gives us all the rooms for nothing,
Right.
Right,
That's-
that's a big,
that's a big chunk.
That's
Yes.
exactly.
Right. So I
Exactly.
mean, that's what I was saying. Either in kind up to 25, about $2,500, or monetary around $2,500.
Oh, you're talking about to be included in our
Keep that
banner.
in mind, as that's you're the sponsor for this event if you're in that ballpark.
Yeah, well, like Vesh, like when she explained to me that they're donating their facility,
Correct.
well, we're using their electricity,
Right.
we're using everything
Exactly.
they have.
But if they're
then
just
she'll
donating
be doing,
tables,
like,
that's not
food.
a sponsorship.
Exactly.
Right. No, if you're an event, again, if you're an event sponsor, you're on the hook for that event. That's your baby.
can we maybe not call them a sponsor and call them a host? You're an event host.
Single event.
Some other word for sponsorship, so that it does not.
Well, host would. I mean, I guess you can do that.
Hosting something. Yeah.
I mean, that connotation to me means that I'm providing the facility. I'm hosting the facility. I'm not necessarily hosting. I'm not.
Not necessarily, because we hosted my son's wedding at somebody else's facility. So.
Yes, like you're hosting, like you're the one
Yeah.
putting on like the party and things like that.
You're putting
have
your
to pay
stamp on
everything.
things.
Yeah.
Did you know how when the CAC they say our next event is
Yeah, hosting
Hosted
that
by-
crap show.
yeah, exactly, but it's basically sponsored by CHC, but they're
Right.
hosting it at
So
wherever.
What's the
Naughty
other
or whatever.
words that we can use is they're saying advocate, backer, benefactor, patron, promoter, supporter, underwriter. I don't know. Use another word.
Promoters is not bad.
Event promoter, what's that?
Is there something wrong with the word sponsor? That we're trying to-
I was thinking in my mind to keep them just to keep
Yeah,
it
just
separate
delineating
out.
between the sponsor being as the overall
Overall
event.
sponsor and then like a host for the actual event.
event. Yeah.
I like the word host. Like
Well,
it's-
I would rather keep events sponsored because that's what you see a lot of. And if you want to differentiate, these are donors, right? The Centennial donor,
donors. Yeah.
the turn of the century donor, the Roaring 1925 donor.
So instead of sponsorships levels, why don't we do donor levels? And then this is how we know it's blanketed. And then sponsorship is events.
I mean, it's a sponsorship policy. So again, if you get hung
I
up
can
on
rewrite the whole thing. I mean, it's fine, but it's gonna take me a while.
No, I think we leave it the way it is as far as that goes.
Okay.
Maybe we can say host a specific event. I mean,
these are you have general sponsorship levels and you have event sponsors.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you need to change the word. I mean, I see the point.
And we could just write that when we're putting it on social media as so and
Or
so
describing
so and so
it.
sponsor is hosting this event.
Right, yes.
Yeah, and like I said, you could title these general sponsorship. Matter of fact, you could do in your blue heading here general sponsorship levels, and then you could have another blue thing that says event sponsorship, and then choose your event. Keep it separate,
I will make it separate.
and then
I have an idea.
okay. I mean, I'm sure you come up with something. Whether you start putting pen to paper.
Yeah, let me put it all together.
I thought of something. I
I'll-
don't know if it's going to be too much, but why don't we do that? Just general sponsorship levels, and then you have all this, and then you do the second one of specific sponsorship levels and same amounts for the event.
That's what we're gonna do. Like
Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay,
you're right there with us.
good. I'm like, wait.
And also,
And then, like I said,
keeping
I
it in-
think-
yeah.
And that'll
think
just
after that-
separate everything.
When you get that in, you get somebody sends in and says, "Hey, I want to sponsor a golf tournament." Well, then you can put together some other stuff for more specific to those events, and maybe they're different, maybe it's all the same. You know, what do you want to do in kind? I mean, but I think if somebody says they're going to sponsor an event, they're on the hook for the whole thing, and we'll help facilitate that. We're going to put
That was cute.
I'll tell you right now, like I said, if you get someone on the phone and says, I'm going to put on the whole thing, we'll definitely work whatever we got to work
Yeah,
out at that moment. So everything is open to negotiation.
and it makes
So-
sense for the like if it's a golf tournament, fish tournament is a little different, but golf tournament you're going to have it at a golf course. And they're going to sponsor. It doesn't have to be. You could have somebody independent of that that's going to pay that. But I would think I don't know how it's going to work out. Hopefully we'll have one or the other.
Well,
I
we're
think
both.
this,
Yeah.
I think the
Great.
single
Yeah.
event sponsors at this point need to be left a little bit more open.
Yeah, there's
You
going to
know,
be
like
some.
calls to discuss the.
There's a lot of
details.
nuances with an
Yes.
event sponsor.
Yeah, rather than like these are very specific right here because we already know what we want to do, and it's in general for all the events. But the specific ones we're gonna have to leave it open because you can't just write because each event is so different.
It is.
You'd have to come up with so many different things.
in different places and
Could be just details to be discussed. Call us for details or something.
And that way we can at least get this out quicker.
Correct.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
So let's go with that. And let's see. So that was anything else on sponsorship stuff that we haven't talked about?
no.
Okay.
Everything else.
Just make sure the calendar gets changed with the golf date.
Yeah, the dates we talked about. So that's all the
Are
Yeah.
there any other changes to the schedule at all, or is that only one so far?
those are the ones I know of. And obviously that if we go forth or whatever, we may need to tweak the dates. But I say we spent a lot of time kind of mapping that out. So I think
Yeah. So
those
just
are pretty.
just make sure that the April 28th is put in the sponsorship packet.
Okay, it's all legitimate. We have old business. So status of the Centennial logo. I'll pass that to you for
Thank you. So
discussion.
if Ashley has a moment to pull those up, we have 3 more renditions. We were able to work with pictures from the owner.
Oh, that's a good one.
So,
Or Lisa.
or actually, these pictures were from the owner or Lisa Burke, so that she took pictures for us. And so we have 3 renditions that we want to show everyone.
Is that lack of color because we kind of faded it out, or just because it's a night picture? I guess
That's yeah. It's just the time of
that's a good shot. Other than it's not as colorful, that's a good one too.
Oh, did it come up? Sorry.
No, it's not.
That one's up. Okay, so that's number 2. And 3.
That's too washed out.
No, I don't like that one.
yeah. Unfortunately, this one.
This one was dark, yeah.
That's the second one. Go back to the second one. That one's pretty good.
Go back to the first.
I like the first one.
And number 1. Oh, I brought it up twice.
Because the house is a different
That's
way.
the first one.
Yeah.
I like the first one.
And go back to the second one again.
Second one.
Oh, it's a different angle of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One's
Yes.
more of a-
And it's also got blue
Yes.
animals rather than the gold animals. I kind of like the gold.
This one was a bigger with.
Yeah, I like
I know, but.
Yeah, I was going to say the gold.
We can put the gold animals on.
Yeah,
On the other picture?
on the
We
house.
can put the gold animals on the other picture. That's not a problem.
I like that one though. I like the angle of the house.
Me too.
On that you saw?
You like this picture better?
I guess I'm the
I
same.
do too.
It's just it's devoid of.
You like the
Let's
gold
say
really?
adjourn. That's all
What is
I
it?
got.
What's wrong with it?
Gold animals.
Hey guys, one at a time.
No, these were great. These were great. No, these are gold. Just see them. No, but these were great.
The second one.
They like the first one.
I like the first one. We like the first one.
Why the second one?
Well, good.
There's a little more color to it.
Yeah, and it kind of
Um,
all meshes together.
they go back to the first one. Really tasking Ashley over there.
Can you pull them both up, Ashley, at the same time and put them on the same screen or no?
Wish
It
they had
looks
that angle with the
overexposed to
sunset.
me.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Yeah, I like that angle. The way that it looks like the flag. Yeah.
Yeah, that the flag's on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you do it side by side, that's good.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
I'll make a motion for the second one.
Make a motion for the
I'll
first
make a
one.
motion for the first one.
Well, I got to entertain a second for the first motion. So I have a motion for the second one. Is there a second? Okay, that motion dies. Well, your first motion didn't do well.
I have to recuse myself because I'm the one who did those, so I'm not, I don't want to vote.
I also will use myself.
Which ones do you guys like, though? Which one do you think?
It's centered
You
on
took
the
them, right?
first one as opposed to the second one.
Say again?
The celebrating is much bigger and more
Celebrating
prominent.
is centered in the first one as opposed to the second one.
That's center.
Center is smaller.
It's just smaller.
Smaller.
No, but it's.
You can see the
it's centered.
celebrating much better in the first one than this one here.
That is true.
It's just smaller, that's all.
Yeah.
But it's
That
not
can be
because
changed.
It's centered.
It's still centered. It's centered. Well, I mean, if you're talking about the house itself, it's centered over the house, where the house is a little more off to the side in the second one.
Well, the
It's still
house,
centered.
It's lower.
they're centered in a circle.
The picture only allows you to work so much.
No,
So each
I'm-
picture is different.
I'm saying I like that, because in the second one, it's lower, it's sitting, the celebrating is sitting right under where,
Oh, under
right
the
above where it
animals,
says
under the
over,
animals.
it's under the animals. As
The other
opposed
one
to
is-
the first one, it's centered in the middle of it.
It's just a difference in size.
Well, this is melding into the thing, so it probably needs to be adjusted.
Yeah,
It is the same. It's the same.
But you see what I'm talking about?
You can tweak those, obviously, to
Yeah,
fix the
it
wording.
can be.
I like it that way. I would like the first one with the letters just raised up a little bit, and I make that motion that we accept the first one with, a slight raise.
I would probably shrink them a little bit, actually.
Well, you can't do it. Animals.
Yeah. They need to be probably less than the city of Port Richey. Maybe halfway in between
Yeah, but
the
not as
small
small as
size
the
and the
second.
big size. Kind of
Yeah.
find a happy medium between those.
There is a happy medium, number 2.
Really?
It's not.
Now, so I have issue with the first one just because it looks overexposed. I mean, the sky, the water, it's all pretty much the same color. At least on the second picture, you have some of the sunset in the background. You have some variation.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I wish the first picture had the sunset in the background.
I can crop the house out and drop it in the other one.
Oh, there you go.
That would be,
Okay.
yes,
Then
But you see what I'm saying here?
that would be
Well,
cool.
that would be nice.
See how this is centered here? As opposed to it's not centered up here. It's lower
Talking about
here.
the width
That's
of
what
it.
I'm talking
Oh,
about.
The
It has
sizing of
nothing
it
to do
is
with the
different.
font. It just
And that's
has
just
to
a
do
different
with-
size.
I shrunk the size.
Yeah, it's just a
that's
different
all.
size. Yeah.
So
It just needs to be
like
pulled out.
the sunset.
I like this
But if she can change
better.
the house, I think that would be
You
good.
made that?
Do we have any?
So when you're saying centered, you're not talking about centered
No,
vertically. You're talking about centered in the city of Port Richey dome. Yeah,
Right.
centered in the arc.
Yeah.
Right, see, because
Yes.
it's up here as opposed to this
right yes.
here, not up
Yeah.
here. That's what I meant.
You just shrink it.
Yeah.
It'll do that. I know exactly what you mean. But we can do
Yeah, I would pick a size between. I would make if you went to second picture, I would
But I would
expand that and raise it up.
Raise that up.
Raise it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And change the house, and that would be great.
So house, pick one,
Choose a pick
two,
two.
and then raise up.
The celebration in the 100 years.
Now, do you
You're
want,
able to swap houses.
Yes.
I did a grab and I grabbed it out and dropped it in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about the
So these
the
pictures are
dolphin?
manufactured? These houses are
Those are pictures that Lisa took, but I grabbed them from her photo and dropped them into something else.
Photoshop.
Because they were too dark. You said that one was overexposed. It was really dark.
Yeah,
the one
her-
that
she
sent,
took
so
a
I
lot
had
of
to like
pictures during
crop
the
the
middle
whole
of the
house
day.
out and then make a whole separate background from another picture that she had. So I like combined two of her
so
pictures.
so you're saying so that ocean picture in that house
Are not the same.
they're put together. Oh, okay.
See,
Nice.
picture
Both of them.
picture 3 was taken like during like high noon, and that's why it looks like that. Like with the sun hitting the water as much as it is. Can you pull pic 3 one more time, Ashley? That's
That
in
was
the middle of
her
the day.
actual picture.
That's middle of the day. That's why you see so much sun on the water,
Right.
and that's why it's hard to see the home or anything like that.
Yeah, I didn't crop any of that. That's her picture.
The words stand out more, but you lose
The
You-
color.
you
There's
lose
no
the
color.
color.
Yeah.
the color of this because the sky is blue. You know,
Are you talking about just swapping this photo into this?
I can
This
crop the
wording.
house. I
Other
can
one.
crop the house out and drop it into the other one.
Taking
What?
the first house and putting it into the second.
Right.
And how about the color in the manatee and the
Background.
dolphin?
Yeah.
Gold
Keeping the
or
second
blue?
background.
Color you want.
Now do we like gold
Blue.
dolphins or blue
This
dolphins?
background.
Gold.
Blue seems more realistic.
I think when I had the gold
True.
in that one, it was blending in too
They
much
are
with
blue.
Was
the,
it?
They
With
are.
the
The
sky.
sunset.
sky.
Okay.
But just make it somewhere the size of the words like half.
Yes.
In right in between. Yeah.
It's that house, it's fine.
I really don't like that picture
Which one?
of the house, the one on the
The
left.
first one.
You don't
I mean,
like the house?
you like the angle. I get that. You like the angle that better than the other
It
one.
just shows off that
The
flag.
flag.
And
Yeah.
that's so signature of that specific stilt house that's what it should
It's
show.
pretty. I don't know.
Well, the other one has a flag too, just at an angle, and actually has another
It
flag
has
flying.
a flag and the flag.
But
Yeah.
the flag is like on the house in that other one. It's just, I don't know. I like, there's something about it that it,
Yeah, we can take the
Pops
dolphins
it
out, put a flag in there.
I do agree with the blue dolphin though. Just it is more realistic.
yeah.
I mean I like the look of the gold, but
I really don't understand why we can't get a good picture of that.
And I like the gray
That's
dolphins.
fine. I like the
It's-
gray.
I like gray.
No, it's very cute. 'Cause that's more realistic.
I mean, I'm almost at the point. This would pay the guy $500 for this one.
I know it would.
wow.
Is that all he's?
Like
But there was what was?
It's
What
not only
wanted-
that,
he
it's, we also
wanted-
have to pay our city attorney to draft an agreement, and the agreement that he's got is you wouldn't sign it. No one would sign
So
it.
it was $500, and he had all these stipulations.
Yes.
So it was just $500, and we own the rights to it.
No. It was $500 plus, and you know, use of it. It's
I thought you were gonna go on the boat with the fire department.
well, I haven't had a chance yet because we've been doing other work. The fire department's been on
There's
calls,
that one
and
too, but it-
they've actually we had to pull a dock out the other day.
That's I dropped the house in Dave's
Moving
photo from Brasher,
The second one.
or not from Brasher,
Yeah,
from
but
Holston.
Well, now you're
So there's
introducing
that
another
one too. No, I was just
Yes.
showing.
Yeah.
Would you have?
I do like that.
I love the look of the first one.
Yes.
Oh,
There's
Janet,
something about it.
It is something
Guys.
different.
minimal
I
chatter.
was gonna say, what about, zooming in more, so you don't have this background like you have here, this is like just on the house? Is that, then you can see the flag a little better? Is that, I just try or not? I can try.
Because that's just the house, right? You just drop it there. Is that maybe why it's kind of washed out like that? Because you really can't tell the red, white, and blue on the flag. You can see that it's a flag, but it's all blue.
Now, remember also how this is gonna be reproduced.
Yeah, that has some contrast.
Especially if it's gonna be on shirts.
Right.
and, you know,
I mean, that needs to be red stripes, and it needs to be blue. I mean, it's
Yeah.
That's a good
So
point.
we need to get more pictures. Is that what you're saying?
No. No.
I would think, you know, part it in more.
It doesn't make sense, the colors. Like,
It's gonna be expensive shirts to make also, and logos to make. It's colors.
Colors don't matter anymore.
No, okay.
well.
How about we just go with number 2 and
Yeah.
then just change the wording, fix the wording so it's a little bigger.
I will not vote for number 2 now.
That ship has sailed.
Well, it takes out so many changes.
Like in one, like have the wording just like in number one, in number two.
Yeah, I can fix that.
Right.
This was
That's
just, I was
exactly, that's why we
trying
like
to
to
give you guys
that's why we
something,
like to
so-
look
Yeah,
at
no,
it.
that, all that could be,
Yeah.
that's the easy part.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying,
I had a hard
If you want
time
pink
with the
dolphins,
house.
manatees, blue, gold, that's easy.
Okay.
It's basically, we're looking at the actual still home and in the background.
Okay,
And see, actually, the one picture
that's a
that
good
Lisa
compliment.
had is in the other direction, and I flipped the house too, so you can see the flag on this side.
The owner,
Oh.
owner sent us, he sent us several photos. Lisa sent us several photos. I've seen a lot of photos of the still home.
Yeah.
You know, we've tried to incorporate many
I've
things.
tried,
This home.
really,
I
I've spent a
mean-
lot of time.
Cheryl, do we have any issue if we use any of these pictures that are ours for
No.
compensation?
No.
No, so we're,
No, that's the whole point. Is that
right,
we have
yeah,
just,
okay.
it has to be a different photo that,
Than
that
that
someone
one.
is willing to donate or whatnot, but it can't be the original picture.
On that house, could you add some more contrast so the red, white, and blue pops out a little better, or is it what it is?
Try. Because I flipped the house around, I don't know if it's going to let me do any more manipulating to it, other than maybe shrinking it.
You flip the house around. It was
Yeah, the house is facing the other direction.
She's very good.
I don't even do like graphic arts, this is just, I work for a software company. Like,
well. What on the City Porch is good. I would move the dolphin manatee up, maybe shrink them a little bit so that they stand alone. They're above the celebrating 100 years and celebrating 100 years. That way it doesn't, because
Make celebrate, the word celebrating a little bit bigger.
yes, put those up there between that, and I'd move celebrate 100 years up a little bit higher. And if you move the dolphins and manatee outside that, I don't know if you even need to change the size on it to be able to see it better.
Yeah, if these were moved up, the size of them would be fine.
Yeah.
This a smidge.
Yeah,
Yep.
maybe get that up a smidge off the picture.
Yeah, make the celebrating.
And I mean, as far as the background, all that with the sunset, I mean, the colors are pretty good. They're a little washed out, but not bad.
And sometimes printing companies can enhance.
What's that?
Sometimes printing companies can enhance those photos.
Yes.
What they need to be for printing. More than maybe the capabilities that Kim has with the software she was using.
I don't know if you lighten up that house, if that might do it in and of itself, actually. Okay.
All right, so we got direction on that.
Is that logo going on the sponsorship packet? Correct?
No.
Not right now.
No, okay.
Like the answer.
So we got some time on that.
Okay.
Okay. Subcommittees.
We put this on the agenda so we can start talking. Now that the event list is locked, we'll have to start, talking about this in some capacity.
So I did discuss this with the attorney at council, and basically we can have subcommittees to do that. They don't need to go to council, whatever. But whatever they do has to come back to this body for us to approve, because this is a sunshine law
Right.
issue. So they can go out and figure stuff out. They come back and we basically make the decision on it, and then we're good. So we can put together a group of people that are going to plan the golf event. But whatever they come up with has to come back to us to bless it at this committee. So we rubber stamp whatever that is. We're good. So they can't make any decisions in and of themselves.
So I do have a suggestion.
Once Ashley had something.
Oh,
I
sorry.
just want to confirm by consensus, you guys are all agreeing with number 2 with slide minutes. No motion, just consensus. Just so I have for my
Does anybody oppose that second logo with some tweaks?
consensus is fine. Okay, I just want to make sure. We have a motion, but no.
Then we're good.
Okay.
He had a motion, didn't turn out very well, so we'll just do consensus. Go ahead.
So
I'm playing anymore.
So I did want to make mention on the subcommittees, a suggestion, maybe we can assign like one of us to that subcommittee. Let's say the business expo, anything like that, so that we're there for guidance just in case, and then we bring back what's going on.
Yeah, no, I think as much as we can
And then
participate
like
in those committees. Yeah.
some of us, like for example, like the golfing tournament, I have no idea anything about golf. So it's not something that I am going to be like, oh, I'll be such a help there, because I won't. So,
My husband's a golf course superintendent and manager, so.
oh, that's good what you can. So then, but I'm saying like we can pick events that we'll be better at in that sense, and maybe we can work those events, and it doesn't have to be just one of us, it could be multiple of us being there. Like I was saying, like the business expo, since I made the contact.
Go ahead.
No,
If, with subcommittees, if you guys are going together, that's a meeting, so you can't,
oh,
you gotta be careful.
Get one.
Right, yeah,
we can only have one, but
We can
not
only
You
have
two.
have one, you can't have two.
correct.
Okay, got it. Okay, so
So if you two, I mean, I'm not saying you guys can't work together, but you can't go together. Like,
Right.
you need to, if she's handling something specific for that event,
okay,
you're handling something else specific individually for that event, that's fine, but you guys can't go
Like-
together and discuss.
Like I could
things.
handle the accessibility and talk to the manager and that kind of stuff, and you could handle
that
the
makes
event.
sense.
Yeah.
You guys could
Together.
get together and say, let's charge $100 for this. I think that's a great
I
price.
can't do that.
Because you got to come back to this board to
Yes.
approve that,
Right,
right? So-
Right. So okay,
You gotta
now
be
I
careful
okay.
with sunshine.
So
with
then we
that.
should, yeah, and I should know this. Okay, but so can we have like at least one committee, just one committee member then be assigned to that subcommittee? And then, like you said, if it's ADA compliant, thing like that, you could be checking and things like that. Can we do that?
I thought that's what we were gonna do, have
Yeah.
Yeah, once we get all the events,
everybody on this committee is gonna be in charge.
On one of the others.
Just as long as three of you guys aren't going to one location discussing things or regarding something
So-
that's coming back to this committee.
Okay.
So maybe
Understood.
on the agenda for next meeting, we'll assign committee members individually to the events.
That
And
would
then
be great.
that would be a good start. And then,
Why do you want to just do it right now?
well, we got tight deadline.
Cheryl's
So-
not here. Oh,
And Cheryl's not here.
And you guys have to go. Yeah.
and that may take a little bit. So,
Yeah. Okay.
so we'll just,
Think about what you.
yeah, be thinking about which event you might want to kind of, and again, you don't have to do all the work. The idea behind it was you're kind of the representative from the committee on that and put together your team or work with the sponsor or whatever that and kind of
Reach out for volunteers.
Yeah.
form that
Right.
committee.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
be kind of a point of contact for that event. Anything else, old business?
so I think once we decide like all the different event locations, and most of them are fairly well set, but once we finish that, I can start going around and just taking a look at them. And then I know I wanted to
Yeah.
get with Lighthouse, and because they're the school for the blind, and see which, if there's any way we can accommodate them a little more.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Anything else?
Motion we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, so you got a second that time. Congratulations. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Adjourned.